Speaking of the NFC playoffs, of course, the Dallas Cowboys look like they'll be there. Big win for them over Washington, which gave them, Rob, a three-game lead in the NFC East, which we know is a weak division, with just 4 games remaining. So they should win that division. No surprise there to people. But I think Dallas, and like if I had to rank teams in the NFC, it would be Tampa, Green Bay, Arizona, the Rams, and then Dallas. Like they'd be in that 5th slot. And so I don't expect them to make a lot of noise. What I expected going into the season was that they'd win their division. They were capable of winning a playoff game, and that was it. And I'm still right there.
Right.
But you know I've been a champion for Dak Prescott. And I've said he's elite early in the year when he proved to me, at least, that he could come out and throw for big yardage and either win, because they didn't beat Tampa Bay. Remember that.
Right.
But he put him on his back and had a huge game, and they almost beat him. And then, of course, he did beat New England, threw for 445 yards, 3 touchdowns, and a pick. Good win there, though. And then he got hurt. And, Rob, he has not been the same since the calf injury or since he came back from it. And whether it's that, I guess it's probably that. Because, like I said, I thought he was playing at an elite level earlier in the year. But right now he's not playing at an elite level. And I don't have the faith right now that he can put them on his back and lead them. And here's what how I'm defining the lead. Because I do think he's a great leader. I think those guys in the locker room love him. We saw that when Lyle Collins, Rob, you saw he got ejected this weekend for defending Dak against Washington. And remember, Rob, a year ago when Andy Dalton got, remember there was like a late hit on Andy Dalton and nobody came to his defense.
Right, I remember
and people
that.
made a big deal out of that. So I think Dak is a leader. I think he's got intangibles and all that. But when I say lead, I mean when the running game isn't working and they need you to put them on your back, can you throw your team to victory over good teams like Aaron Rodgers, like Tom Brady, like Patrick Mahomes? And right now I would have to say no. I think right now he's looking more like a game man, as I thought he was earlier in his career. Right. A game manager who's capable of making big plays, but not the guy you can just say, okay, we can't run it with Zeke. We can't run it with Pollard. Dak, you got to throw for 300 plus and lead us to victory. I just don't see that happening in the playoffs with them, Rob.
Yeah, that says a lot. And I'm not blaming you for thinking that on where he is. I've always pushed back on him being elite. I know he's put up some numbers and had some games. I just didn't think when you talk about elite, and when I talk about elite, I'm talking about like the handful of 3 or 4 quarterbacks, Chris, everybody.
Well,
right.
I never, even as I was saying he was elite, I always said he was below, those guys I just mentioned.
Right, but you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like he was never in the Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes class. Like
right.
that to me is elite. The elite, win you a game, do what you got to do. And I remember the Cowboys and always thought of the Cowboys of when this new wave or new group, it was about them running the football. And I know Ezekiel's not the same. And that's when Dak, when they were running the ball. Not that he can't play. I'm not saying that or he's a bum or anything, But I really believe the Cowboys were a better team when it wasn't only about Dak. That
I agree.
When it wasn't about him and he was a part of it, and an important part, but he wasn't the guy.
He was more like, let's just keep it real, he was more like Tom Brady early in his career.
Right.
Where it's not all about him, but obviously he's playing well and, he's contributing and this and that. But I agree. And Rob, it was almost like last year, and you and I both pushed back when everybody was talking, oh my God, Dak throwing for 450 yards a game. Well, they were comebacks.
Right.
The defense were getting soft,
We
so
said
they were
that,
up
right.
a few touchdowns.
Right. That's what
then
defenses
when
do, right.
Right. We saw it, Rob. It was the same thing this Sunday. And that's why I was bothered with Buffalo acting like they had done something heroic by coming back. And I get it, at a certain point, you get close enough, then it becomes, real football again.
Right.
But at a certain point, the defense goes soft and wants you to eat up clock. And if it means giving up some yardage, so be it. But yeah, I think, look, I do think Dak can get there. Now, I don't think he's ever, I think he's a notch below the group you mentioned. And I would throw Russell Wilson in that group as well.
Right. We can't
group.
drop him out because this year is not great. He was hurt.
And he's been hurt. Right. He's played through injury. He's been hurt.
I don't have a problem with that. Okay.
But I think Dak is, would you put him in that second group?
I just think he's underneath that.
He's underneath that top
he's
level.
Underneath
but
that,
I think he's in that second tier.
And that's the group that I'm calling elite. Because I don't think everybody's elite. There's only a handful of guys who are really in that class. When you start talking about Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, and Mahomes, it ain't that.
You're talking about three of the best ever.
Right, and then you add Russell Wilson, who has had a great career so far and went to a couple Super Bowls, you know what I mean, and played in big games and all that. Ain't too many people have those resumes.
And here's the problem, Rob, for Dallas. Obviously, in addition to Dak's play, because the defense looked good against Washington. Micah Parsons obviously is a monster, but Zeke just has not gotten it going, Rob. And whether it's the knee, whether it's age, whatever it is, he just can't get it done right now. It's as simple as that. And Tony Pollard has the foot injury. Now, Rob G, hop in here. Because, Rob, I don't know if you saw this. Now, Skip said today on Undisputed that he thinks Pollard could be out basically the rest of the season because he's got a torn, he's got plantar fasciitis or plantar fascia and it's torn. Rob G, what are the reports? Because I haven't seen that type of report. I just know he has the foot injury, Tony Pollard, and he's out.
Well, Skip may have better sourcing than the rest of us because the latest reports that come out of Dallas on Monday, mid-morning on Monday, was that they think he might be able to play on Sunday.
Okay. Wow.
Okay.
So,
well, it's
one of those things where he's going to be hurt either way. It's just, does he want to play on it, kind of
right.
thing.
I was thinking that, he's out, but he'll be back eventually. And then, like I said, Skip was just saying he thinks he might be out all season because he's got plantar fascia and all that. So maybe he was just,
speculating.
Speculating at the toughest, the darkest moment or something. I don't know, but looking at it the worst. But, Rob, the bottom line is if Tony Pollard and Zeke can't give them the run game that they need, it's not going to happen for them this year. And I definitely don't think they're getting to the Super Bowl. Just forget, even if, I just don't think they're as good as Green Bay and Tampa Bay.
Right. In the NFC, right. And they would be, I'm with you.
Without the run game, I give them no chance.
Yeah, they need the run game to neutralize other teams and how they play them. And without it, they're pretty much one-dimensional. And you can defend that, Chris. You can defend that.
Absolutely. All right.